Thank you for tuning in to this engaging and heartfelt story about Sarah and Jake, two people who navigate the ups and downs of life together. In this tale, you'll follow their journey from a chance encounter to deepening their relationship through trials and triumphs. Each chapter explores themes of love, resilience, and the importance of support and communication. As you listen, you'll hear about the challenges they face, from work stress and financial difficulties to the joy of their engagement and wedding day. This story is not only a touching romance, but also a valuable learning experience for English language learners, providing clear and simple narration to help you improve your listening and comprehension skills. We hope you enjoy this beautiful journey of growth and love. If you find the story inspiring, please like and comment below. Share it on social media with your friends and family, and help spread the joy of learning with WooEnglish. Let's dive into the story of Sarah and Jake. Chapter 1. A Chance Encounter. Sarah loved to spend her afternoons in the city park, sketching scenes of daily life. She was an artist, and the park was her favourite place to find inspiration. One sunny day, she was sitting on a bench, drawing a group of children playing by the fountain. The sound of their laughter filled the air, and Sarah smiled as she captured the moment on paper. Just as she was adding the final touches to her sketch, someone bumped into her, causing her pencil to slip. "Oh, I'm so sorry," a voice said quickly. Sarah looked up to see a man standing next to her, looking apologetic. "It's okay," Sarah replied, smiling up at him. "No harm done." The man looked at her sketchbook and saw the drawing. "That's really good. You're very talented," he said, genuinely impressed. "Thank you," Sarah said, feeling a bit shy. "I'm Sarah." "Nice to meet you, Sarah. I'm Jake," he said, extending his hand. They shook hands, and Jake sat down on the bench beside her. "Do you come here often?" he asked, trying to make conversation. "Yes, almost every day," Sarah replied. "I love drawing the scenes here. It's always full of life and energy." Jake nodded. "I can see why. It's a beautiful place. I don't usually come to parks, but I'm glad I did today." "What do you do?" Sarah asked, curious about this stranger who had stumbled into her afternoon. "I'm a businessman," Jake said. "I work in an office downtown. It's a bit stressful, but I like it." Sarah raised an eyebrow. "A businessman who doesn't visit parks often. That's interesting. What brings you here today?" Jake chuckled. "I had a tough day at work and needed some fresh air. I guess I was lucky to find this place and meet you." They talked for a while, sharing stories about their lives. Sarah told Jake about her passion for art and how she spent hours drawing and painting. Jake talked about his job, the challenges he faced, and his dreams of starting his own company one day. Despite their different worlds, they found common ground in their conversation. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of pink and orange, Jake realized he had lost track of time. "I should get going," he said, standing up. "But I really enjoyed talking to you, Sarah. Can we meet again?" Sarah felt a flutter of excitement. "I'd like that, Jake. How about tomorrow? Same place?" "Perfect," Jake said, smiling. "See you tomorrow, Sarah." As Jake walked away, Sarah watched him go, feeling a strange sense of anticipation. She had never expected to meet someone like him in the park, but she was glad she had. She looked at her sketchbook and added a final touch to her drawing, feeling inspired by the chance encounter. The next day, Sarah arrived at the park earlier than usual, her heart beating with excitement. She set up her sketchbook and started drawing, but her mind kept drifting to Jake. When he finally arrived, she couldn't help but smile. "Hello again," Jake said, sitting down beside her. "What are you drawing today?" "Just some flowers," Sarah replied, showing him her work. "They're not as interesting as yesterday's scene, but they're still beautiful in their own way." Jake admired her drawing. "You have a way of making everything look special, Sarah." They spent the afternoon together, talking and laughing. Jake told Sarah more about his dreams and ambitions, and Sarah shared her own hopes for the future. They found comfort in each other's company, and their connection grew stronger. Days turned into weeks, and Sarah and Jake continued to meet in the park. Their friendship blossomed, and they found themselves looking forward to their time together. They shared their joys and sorrows, supporting each other through life's ups and downs. One evening, as they were sitting by the fountain, Jake turned to Sarah. "I've been thinking," he said slowly. "We've become really good friends, and I enjoy every moment we spend together. But I have to be honest. I feel something more than just friendship." Sarah's heart skipped a beat. She had been feeling the same way, but hadn't found the courage to say it. "I feel the same, Jake," she admitted, looking into his eyes. "I've grown to care for you a lot." Jake smiled, reaching for her hand. "Then let's see where this takes us, Sarah. I believe we have something special." As they sat there, holding hands and watching the sunset, Sarah felt a sense of happiness and hope. Their chance encounter had brought them together, and now they were ready to explore the possibilities of a deeper connection. The future was uncertain, but with Jake by her side, Sarah felt ready to face whatever came their way. In the weeks that followed, Sarah and Jake's relationship deepened. They spent more time together, exploring the city, going on adventures, and supporting each other's dreams. Their bond grew stronger, built on trust, respect, and a genuine connection. Their story was just beginning, and both Sarah and Jake felt grateful for the chance encounter that had brought them together. As they looked forward to the future, they knew that no matter what challenges they faced, they would face them together, with love and determination. Chapter 2. Coffee and Conversations. The next day, the sun shone brightly as Sarah made her way to the small coffee shop near the park. She felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. Yesterday's encounter with Jake had been unexpected, but it had left her feeling hopeful and curious about him. She arrived early, choosing a table by the window where she could see the park. A few minutes later, Jake walked in, looking around until he spotted her. He smiled warmly and waved. Sarah felt her heart skip a beat. He seemed genuinely happy to see her. "Hi, Sarah," Jake said as he sat down. "It's nice to see you again." "Hi, Jake," Sarah replied, returning his smile. "I'm glad you could make it." A waitress came over, and they ordered their drinks. Sarah chose a cappuccino, while Jake opted for a black coffee. As they waited, they chatted about small things, the weather, the park, and the bustling city life around them. When their drinks arrived, Jake took a sip of his coffee and leaned back in his chair. "So, tell me more about yourself, Sarah. What inspired you to become an artist? Sarah took a moment to think. I've always loved drawing, she began. Ever since I was a child, I've found joy in capturing the world around me on paper. My parents noticed my passion and encouraged me. They even enrolled me in art classes when I was in school. Jake listened intently, nodding as she spoke. That's wonderful, he said. It's great to have such supportive parents. Did you study art in college too? Yes, Sarah replied. I went to an art school where I learned different techniques and styles. It was challenging but also very rewarding. I've been working as a freelance artist since I graduated. I love the freedom it gives me to explore my creativity. Jake smiled. That sounds amazing. I can see how much you love what you do. I think it's important to follow your passion. What about you, Jake? Sarah asked, curious to learn more about him. You mentioned yesterday that your job is stressful. What do you do? Jake sighed, taking another sip of his coffee. I work for a big company downtown. It's a demanding job with long hours. I'm responsible for managing projects and making sure everything runs smoothly. It's a lot of pressure, and sometimes it feels like I can't keep up. Sarah looked at him with concern. That sounds tough. Do you enjoy it? Jake hesitated. There are parts of it that I enjoy. I like the challenge and the sense of accomplishment when a project is successful. But lately, I've been feeling overwhelmed. I guess I'm still trying to figure out if this is really what I want to do. Sarah nodded, understanding his struggle. It's important to find a balance, she said gently. Work can be fulfilling, but it shouldn't take over your life. Jake smiled appreciatively. You're right, Sarah. I've been thinking about that a lot lately. Meeting you yesterday made me realize how much I miss having time for simple pleasures, like enjoying a cup of coffee with someone. They both fell silent for a moment, lost in their thoughts. The coffee shop was bustling with activity, but their table felt like a small oasis of calm. Sarah felt a strong connection with Jake, despite their different backgrounds and experiences. So, what are your dreams, Jake? Sarah asked, breaking the silence. If you could do anything, what would it be? Jake thought for a moment. I've always dreamed of starting my own business, he admitted. Something smaller, where I can have more control and flexibility. I want to create something meaningful, something that helps people. Sarah's eyes lit up. That sounds wonderful, Jake. What kind of business? I'm not entirely sure yet, Jake said with a smile. I have a few ideas, but I need to do more research and planning. It's a big step, and I want to make sure I'm ready. You seem like someone who can achieve anything you set your mind to, Sarah said encouragingly. I believe you can do it. Jake looked touched by her words. Thank you, Sarah. That means a lot to me. What about you? What are your dreams? Sarah paused, looking out the window for a moment. I dream of having my own art studio one day, she said softly. A place where I can create and display my work, and maybe even teach others. I want to share my passion with the world. Jake smiled. That sounds perfect, Sarah. I can see you doing that. You have so much talent and dedication. They continued talking, sharing more stories about their lives and dreams. Sarah told Jake about the challenges of being a freelance artist, the uncertainty, and the need to constantly find new clients. Jake shared his experiences of working in a high-pressure environment, the deadlines, and the constant need to prove himself. As they talked, they realized they had more in common than they had initially thought. They both understood the importance of following their passions and the struggles that came with it. They found comfort in each other's company, knowing they weren't alone in their journeys. The afternoon passed quickly, and soon the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the city. Jake looked at his watch and sighed. "I should probably get going," he said reluctantly. "I have an early meeting tomorrow." Sarah nodded, feeling a pang of disappointment. "I understand. It was really nice talking to you, Jake." Jake stood up and smiled. "I enjoyed it too, Sarah. Can we do this again sometime?" "I'd like that," Sarah said, returning his smile. "How about next weekend?" "Next weekend it is," Jake agreed. "I'm looking forward to it." They walked out of the coffee shop together, chatting about their plans for the week. When they reached the corner where they had to part ways, Jake turned to Sarah. "Thank you for today, Sarah. It was exactly what I needed." "Me too," Sarah said softly. "See you next weekend, Jake." They waved goodbye, and Sarah watched as Jake walked away. She felt a warmth in her heart, knowing that this was the beginning of something special. As she made her way home, she couldn't help but smile, looking forward to their next meeting. Over the next week, Sarah found herself thinking about Jake often. His kindness and openness had left a lasting impression on her. She felt inspired by their conversation, and she poured that inspiration into her art. Her sketches became more vibrant and expressive, reflecting the hope and excitement she felt. Jake, too, felt a renewed sense of purpose. Meeting Sarah had reminded him of the importance of balance and following his dreams. He started making plans for his own business, taking small steps towards turning his ideas into reality. When the weekend finally arrived, Sarah and Jake met again at the same coffee shop. This time, their conversation flowed even more easily, as if they had known each other for years. They talked about their progress and the challenges they faced, supporting each other with encouraging words and shared laughter. As the weeks went by, their friendship grew stronger. They continued to meet regularly, exploring the city, sharing their dreams, and supporting each other through life's ups and downs. Their bond deepened, and they found comfort and joy in each other's company. Through their coffee and conversations, Sarah and Jake discovered that true connections can be found in the most unexpected places. Their chance encounter had brought them together, and now they were building a friendship that was filled with hope, inspiration, and the promise of a bright future. In the end, it wasn't just about the coffee or the conversations. It was about the journey they were taking together, the dreams they were pursuing, and the support they were giving each other. Sarah and Jake had found something special, and they knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, with friendship, determination, and love. Chapter 3. A Blossoming Friendship. Sarah and Jake's friendship continued to grow as they spent more time together. Each meeting felt more comfortable and enjoyable. They shared laughter, stories, and dreams, discovering how much they had in common. One Saturday morning, Jake suggested, "How about we explore the old town today? There are some beautiful historic buildings and a market I think you'll love." Sarah agreed enthusiastically. She loved exploring new places, and was excited to see this part of the city with Jake. They met at the coffee shop and set off together, walking through the bustling streets. As they strolled, Jake pointed out various landmarks. "That's the old clock tower," he said, gesturing to a tall, ancient structure. "It's been here for over 200 years. Sarah looked up, impressed. "It's beautiful. I love how this city has so much history." They continued their walk, chatting about the different buildings and their architecture. Jake shared some interesting facts he knew, and Sarah listened intently, fascinated by his knowledge. At the market, they wandered through the stalls, looking at handmade crafts, fresh produce, and colourful fabrics. Sarah stopped at a stall selling paintings. "These are lovely," she said, examining a watercolour of the cityscape. Jake nodded. "They remind me of your sketches. You have a similar style." Sarah smiled. "Thank you, Jake. That means a lot." They bought some fresh fruit and found a bench to sit and eat. As they enjoyed their snacks, Sarah asked, "Jake, what made you choose your career?" Jake thought for a moment. "I guess it was the challenge. I wanted to prove to myself that I could succeed in a demanding job. But now, I'm not so sure if it's what I want to do forever." Sarah nodded thoughtfully. "I understand. It's important to find something that makes you happy." Jake looked at her, appreciating her understanding nature. "What about you, Sarah? What do you love most about being an artist?" Sarah's eyes lit up. "I love the freedom it gives me. I can express myself and see the world in different ways. Art allows me to capture moments and feelings that words sometimes can't." Jake smiled. "I can see how passionate you are about it. It's inspiring." As the day went on, they visited a small museum and then had lunch at a cozy cafe. They talked about everything and anything, from their favourite books to childhood memories. The more they shared, the closer they felt. In the afternoon, they walked by the river, enjoying the peaceful sound of the water. Jake turned to Sarah and said, "I'm really glad we met, Sarah. Spending time with you has been wonderful." Sarah felt a warm glow inside. "I feel the same way, Jake. Our friendship means a lot to me." They sat by the riverbank, watching the ducks swim by. Sarah took out her sketchbook and started to draw the scene. Jake watched her, admiring the way she focused on her work. "You have such a talent, Sarah," he said softly. "It's amazing to see you create." Sarah blushed slightly. "Thank you, Jake. I love drawing nature. It's so calming." As Sarah sketched, Jake shared more about his dreams of starting his own business. "I want to create something that makes a difference," he said. "Something that helps people." Sarah looked up from her drawing. "I believe you can do it, Jake. You have the drive and the passion. I'm sure whatever you choose will be successful." Jake felt encouraged by her words. "Thank you, Sarah. Your support means a lot." Their friendship continued to blossom over the next few weeks. They went to art galleries, attended local concerts, and even tried a cooking class together. Each new experience brought them closer. One evening, after a fun day at a music festival, they sat on a park bench, watching the stars appear in the sky. Jake turned to Sarah and said, "I've realised something, Sarah. You've brought so much joy into my life. I'm grateful for our friendship." Sarah felt a flutter in her chest. "I've been thinking the same thing, Jake. You've made me feel so happy and supported. I value our time together." Jake took a deep breath. "I think our friendship has become something more for me. I care about you a lot, Sarah." Sarah's heart skipped a beat. She had been feeling the same way, but had been unsure how to express it. "I care about you too, Jake. More than just a friend." They looked at each other, understanding and warmth in their eyes. In that moment, they knew their feelings were mutual. It was a new beginning for them, filled with the promise of something deeper and more meaningful. As they walked back home, hand in hand, they talked about their future. They both knew there would be challenges, but they were ready to face them together. Their blossoming friendship had turned into something beautiful, and they were excited to see where it would lead. Sarah and Jake's story was just beginning, but they felt confident in their connection. They had found each other by chance, and now they were building a relationship based on trust, respect, and love. Over the next few months, they continued to support each other's dreams and grow closer. Sarah's art flourished with Jake's encouragement, and Jake felt more determined than ever to start his own business with Sarah by his side. Their friendship had blossomed into love, and they knew that no matter what challenges they faced, they would face them together. Their bond was strong, and their hearts were full of hope for the future. Chapter 4. Hidden Feelings. Sarah and Jake's friendship had grown strong, but now their hidden feelings began to complicate things. They both felt more than friendship, but were unsure how to express it. This uncertainty created moments of awkwardness and tension between them. One sunny afternoon, Sarah and Jake met at the park for their usual walk. They talked about their week, but both felt a strange unease. Sarah noticed Jake seemed distracted, and she wondered if something was bothering him. "Is everything okay, Jake?" Sarah asked, trying to sound casual. Jake nodded quickly. "Yeah, everything's fine. Just a lot on my mind, I guess." Sarah smiled, trying to ease the tension. "Work stress?" "Something like that," Jake replied, looking away. Sarah wanted to ask more, but decided to change the subject. "Look at that couple over there," she said, pointing to an elderly pair sitting on a bench holding hands. "Aren't they sweet?" Jake smiled, his gaze softening. "Yeah, they are. I hope we can all find someone like that one day." The words hung in the air between them. Sarah felt her heart beat faster. She wanted to ask Jake if he thought they could be like that couple, but she couldn't find the courage. As they continued walking, the conversation turned to lighter topics. They laughed and joked, but underneath, both were struggling with their hidden feelings. That evening, Jake lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. He couldn't stop thinking about Sarah. He wondered if she felt the same way about him. He feared that revealing his feelings might ruin their friendship. What if she didn't feel the same? What if it made things awkward between them? Meanwhile, Sarah was having similar thoughts. She sat by her window, looking out at the city lights. She wanted to be honest with Jake about her feelings, but she worried about his busy life. Maybe he didn't have room for a relationship right now. Maybe he didn't see her that way at all. The next time they met, the air was filled with unspoken words. They went to a small art gallery that Sarah loved. She was excited to show Jake the new exhibit. "Look at this painting," Sarah said, leading Jake to a large canvas filled with vibrant colours. "Isn't it amazing?" Jake admired the painting. "It's beautiful, just like your work." Sarah blushed. "Thank you, Jake. That means a lot." As they moved through the gallery, Sarah noticed Jake seemed distant again. She couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. "Jake, is everything really okay?" she asked, her voice gentle. Jake sighed. "I've just been thinking a lot about us." Sarah's heart skipped a beat. "What about us?" Jake hesitated, then shook his head. "Never mind. It's nothing." Sarah felt a pang of disappointment, but didn't press him further. They finished their tour of the gallery in silence, each lost in their thoughts. Later that evening, they went to a nearby cafe. The conversation was light at first, but the tension grew as they danced around their true feelings. "Sarah, can I ask you something?" Jake finally said, breaking the silence. "Of course," Sarah replied, her heart pounding. "Do you ever feel like we're more than just friends?" Jake's voice was hesitant, unsure. Sarah's breath caught in her throat. She wanted to say yes, but fear held her back. "Why do you ask?" she said instead. Jake looked down at his coffee. "I don't know. I just feel like there's something between us, but I don't want to ruin what we have." Sarah reached across the table and took his hand. "Jake, I feel it too. But I'm scared. I'm scared that your busy life won't leave room for us." Jake looked up, his eyes filled with relief and uncertainty. "Sarah, my life is busy, but you're important to me. I don't want to lose you." Sarah squeezed his hand. "I don't want to lose you either, Jake. But we need to be honest with each other." Jake nodded. "You're right. Let's be honest." They spent the rest of the evening talking openly about their feelings and fears. It was a difficult conversation, but it brought them closer. They agreed to take things slowly and see where their relationship could go. The next few weeks were a mix of joy and confusion. They enjoyed their time together, but the uncertainty still lingered. They were navigating new territory, and it wasn't always easy. One day, Jake invited Sarah to his apartment for dinner. He wanted to show her that he was serious about making time for her in his life. He cooked a simple but delicious meal, and they ate by candlelight. "This is wonderful, Jake," Sarah said, smiling. "I didn't know you could cook." Jake laughed. "I'm full of surprises. I wanted to do something special for you." After dinner, they sat on the couch, talking about their hopes and dreams. Jake told Sarah about his plans for starting his own business, and Sarah shared her vision for her art studio. "I believe in you, Jake," Sarah said. "You can make your dreams come true." "And I believe in you, Sarah," Jake replied. "Your art is incredible. You're going to do amazing things." As the evening went on, they grew more comfortable, their earlier fears slowly melting away. They were finding their way, step by step. Sarah and Jake's friendship had blossomed into something more, but they knew it would take time to fully understand their feelings. They were willing to be patient and give each other the space to grow. The hidden feelings that had once caused awkwardness were now bringing them closer. They had taken the first steps toward something deeper, and they were excited to see where their journey would lead. In the end, It wasn't about rushing into a relationship or making big declarations. It was about being honest, open, and supportive. Sarah and Jake were learning to trust each other and themselves, knowing that whatever happened, they would face it together. Their friendship was strong, and their budding romance added a new layer of connection. Together, they were ready to explore the future, one day at a time. Chapter 5. The Art Exhibition. The day of Sarah's art exhibition had finally arrived. She had spent months preparing for this event, pouring her heart and soul into each piece. She was nervous but also excited to share her work with the world, and especially with Jake. Jake had promised to be there. He had seen some of her sketches before, but this was the first time he would see her work displayed in a gallery. Sarah hoped he would like it and feel proud of her. That evening, Sarah stood in the gallery, surrounded by her paintings and drawings. The room was filled with people admiring the art, chatting and sipping wine. Sarah wore a simple, elegant dress, her hair pinned up neatly. She glanced at the door every few minutes, waiting for Jake to arrive. When he finally walked in, Sarah felt a rush of relief and happiness. Jake looked around the gallery, searching for her. When he saw her, he smiled and walked over, his eyes bright with excitement. "Sarah, this place is amazing," Jake said, giving her a quick hug. "Your work is incredible." "Thank you, Jake," Sarah replied, feeling a bit shy. "I'm so glad you could make it." Jake looked around at the paintings on the walls. "I wouldn't miss it for the world. Your talent is extraordinary. I'm so proud of you." Sarah blushed, her heart warming at his words. She guided him through the gallery, showing him each piece and explaining the inspiration behind them. Jake listened attentively, asking questions and showing genuine interest in her work. One painting caught Jake's eye. It was a large canvas depicting a vibrant sunset over a calm sea. The colours were rich and warm, creating a sense of peace and beauty. "This is stunning, Sarah," Jake said, standing in front of the painting. "It feels so alive. How did you capture this moment so perfectly?" Sarah smiled, pleased that he liked it. "I painted it from memory. I visited the beach last summer and watched the sunset. It was a magical moment, and I wanted to keep that feeling alive." "You did an amazing job," Jake said, still looking at the painting. "It's like I can feel the warmth of the sun and the gentle breeze." They moved on to other paintings, each one telling a different story. Jake was impressed by Sarah's ability to convey emotions through her art. He saw her passion, dedication, and skill in every brushstroke. As they walked, Sarah felt a sense of closeness with Jake. She was grateful for his support and encouragement. It meant a lot to her that he appreciated her work and understood the effort she had put into it. When they reached the last painting, a portrait of a young girl, Jake turned to Sarah. "This one is different from the others. It's more personal, isn't it?" Sarah nodded. "Yes, it is. This is a portrait of my little sister, Emily. She passed away a few years ago. I painted this from an old photograph. It was my way of remembering her and keeping her close." Jake looked at the portrait, his eyes filled with empathy. "I'm so sorry, Sarah. This is a beautiful tribute to her. You've captured her spirit and warmth." "Thank you, Jake," Sarah said softly. "It was hard to paint, but also healing. It helped me feel connected to her." They stood in silence for a moment, looking at the portrait. Then Jake took Sarah's hand and squeezed it gently. "Your art is powerful, Sarah. It touches people's hearts. You should be very proud of yourself." Sarah felt tears welling up in her eyes, but she blinked them away. "Thank you, Jake. That means a lot to me." As the evening continued, more people arrived at the gallery. Sarah mingled with the guests, answering questions and accepting compliments. Jake stayed by her side, offering his support and sharing in her joy. At one point, the gallery owner, Mrs. Thompson, approached them. "Sarah, your work has been a huge hit tonight. Everyone is talking about it. Congratulations!" "Thank you, Mrs. Thompson," Sarah said, smiling. "I'm so grateful for this opportunity." Mrs. Thompson nodded. "You've earned it, my dear. Your talent is undeniable. I'm sure this is just the beginning of a successful career for you." After Mrs. Thompson left, Jake turned to Sarah. "She's right, you know. This is just the beginning. You're going to do great things." Sarah felt a surge of hope and excitement. "I hope so, Jake. I have so many ideas and dreams. Tonight feels like the first step toward making them come true." They continued to enjoy the evening, sharing smiles and glances that spoke volumes. Despite the busy atmosphere, there were moments when it felt like they were the only two people in the room. As the exhibition began to wind down, Jake noticed Sarah looking tired but happy. "Are you okay, Sarah? It's been a long night." "I'm good, just a bit overwhelmed," Sarah admitted. "But in a good way. This has been an incredible experience." Jake nodded. "I'm glad I could be here with you. You deserve all the praise and recognition you're getting." "Thank you for being here, Jake," Sarah said, looking into his eyes. "Your support means more to me than you know." Jake smiled warmly. "I wouldn't want to be anywhere else." They stood there for a moment, looking at each other. The air between them was charged with unspoken feelings. Sarah wanted to tell Jake how much he meant to her, but the words wouldn't come. Instead, she reached up and gave him a hug. "Thank you, Jake," she whispered, "for everything." Jake hugged her back, holding her close. "Always, Sarah," he replied softly. "Always." As the evening came to an end, they walked out of the gallery together. The night air was cool and refreshing. They walked in comfortable silence, each lost in their thoughts. When they reached Sarah's apartment, Jake turned to her. "Tonight was amazing, Sarah. You should be very proud of yourself." "I am, Jake. Thank you for being a part of it," Sarah said, smiling. Jake hesitated for a moment, then leaned in and kissed her cheek. "Good night, Sarah." "Good night, Jake," Sarah replied, feeling a mix of emotions. As Jake walked away, Sarah watched him go, her heart full. She knew their friendship was special, and she hoped that one day they would find the courage to share their true feelings. For now, she was content with the knowledge that Jake believed in her and supported her dreams. Their connection was strong, and she looked forward to whatever the future held for them. In the quiet of her apartment, Sarah reflected on the evening. She felt grateful for the success of the exhibition and the support of her friends, especially Jake. As she drifted off to sleep, she dreamed of a future filled with art, love, and endless possibilities. You're listening to WooEnglish. If you enjoyed learning about Sarah and Jake's touching love story, their journey through life's challenges, and the inspiring lessons from their relationship, please like and comment on the story. You're listening to WooEnglish. If you enjoyed learning about Sarah and Jake's touching love story, their journey through life's challenges, and the inspiring lessons from their relationship, please like and comment on the story. Chapter 6. A Turn of Events. The weeks following Sarah's art exhibition were filled with joy and excitement. She received praise and offers from galleries and collectors. However, while Sarah's life was taking a positive turn, Jake was facing a crisis at work. Jake worked for a large corporation in the city. His job was demanding, but he had always managed to balance it with his personal life. However, a major project at work had gone wrong. There were deadlines to meet, clients to satisfy, and a lot of pressure from his boss. Jake found himself working late into the night, trying to fix the problems. One evening, Jake was at his office staring at his computer screen, feeling exhausted. His phone buzzed, and he saw a message from Sarah. "Hey, Jake, want to grab dinner tonight? Haven't seen you in a while." Jake sighed, feeling a pang of guilt. He wanted to see Sarah, but he didn't know how to explain the chaos at work. He typed a quick reply. "Sorry, Sarah, can't tonight. Lots of work to do. Maybe another time?" Sarah read the message and felt a wave of disappointment. Jake had been distant lately, and she didn't understand why. She missed their time together, the walks in the park, and their long conversations. She tried to be patient, hoping things would get better soon. Days turned into weeks, and Jake continued to pull away. He was constantly stressed, trying to solve the problems at work. He felt like he was failing, and he didn't know how to handle it. His personal life began to suffer as a result. One afternoon, Sarah decided to visit Jake at his office. She brought a basket of his favourite snacks, hoping to cheer him up. When she arrived, she could see the tiredness in his eyes. "Hi, Jake," Sarah said softly, handing him the basket. "I thought you might need a little pick-me-up." Jake looked at the basket, then at Sarah. He felt a mixture of gratitude and frustration. "Thanks, Sarah," he said, forcing a smile. "But I'm really busy right now." Sarah's heart sank. "I understand, Jake, but I miss you. We haven't spent time together in weeks." Jake rubbed his temples, feeling the weight of his stress. "I know, Sarah. I'm sorry. Work is just too much right now." Sarah took a deep breath. "Jake, I care about you. I want to help. Please don't shut me out." Jake felt a surge of anger and helplessness. "What can you do, Sarah? This is my job. I have to fix this." Sarah was taken aback by his harsh tone. "I'm just trying to be here for you, Jake." Jake stood up, his frustration boiling over. "I can't deal with this right now, Sarah. I need to focus on work." Sarah felt tears welling up in her eyes. She didn't want to argue, but she didn't know how to reach him. "Fine, Jake. If you need space, I'll give you space." With that, she turned and left his office, her heart heavy with sadness and confusion. Jake watched her go, feeling a deep sense of regret, but he didn't know how to make things right. Over the next few days, Sarah tried to distract herself with her art, but she couldn't stop thinking about Jake. She missed him terribly and felt hurt by his distance. She wanted to be there for him, but she didn't know how to break through the wall he had built around himself. Jake, on the other hand, was drowning in work. He barely slept, and his stress levels were through the roof. He knew he was pushing Sarah away, but he felt trapped in his situation. He didn't want to burden her with his problems, but he also missed her presence in his life. One night, Jake was working late again when his phone rang. It was his boss. "Jake, we need to talk," his boss said. "This project is a disaster. We need to find a solution and we need it now." Jake felt a wave of panic. "I'm doing my best, sir. I'm trying to fix everything." "I know you are, Jake," his boss replied. "But you need help. Let's bring in some additional resources and get this back on track." Jake agreed, feeling a mixture of relief and frustration. He hated asking for help, but he knew he couldn't handle this alone. After the call, he sat back in his chair, feeling completely drained. At that moment, he realized how much he had neglected his personal life. He thought about Sarah and how he had pushed her away. He missed her smile, her support, and the way she made him feel calm. He knew he needed to make things right with her. The next day, Jake decided to visit Sarah's studio. He walked in, feeling nervous and unsure of what to say. Sarah looked up from her painting, surprised to see him. "Jake, what are you doing here?" she asked, her voice guarded. "I came to apologize," Jake said, taking a deep breath. "I know I've been distant and harsh. Work has been overwhelming, but that's no excuse. I'm sorry, Sarah." Sarah put down her paintbrush and looked at him. She could see the sincerity in his eyes, and her heart softened. "I understand, Jake, but you need to let me in. We're a team, remember?" Jake nodded, feeling a wave of relief. "I know, Sarah. I promise to do better. I miss you, and I don't want to lose what we have." Sarah walked over and hugged him. "I miss you too, Jake. Let's figure this out together." They spent the rest of the day talking about their struggles and fears. Jake explained the crisis at work, and Sarah listened, offering her support. They agreed to communicate better and to be there for each other, no matter what. In the following weeks, Jake worked hard to balance his job and personal life. He accepted the help offered by his colleagues and focused on fixing the project. He also made time for Sarah, making sure to keep their connection strong. Sarah continued to thrive in her art, feeling inspired by their renewed bond. She was grateful for Jake's efforts and supported him through his challenges. Their relationship grew stronger as they learned to navigate the ups and downs together. They realized that by being honest and open, they could face any obstacle. Jake's crisis at work had been a turning point, but it had also brought them closer. In the end, it wasn't just about the work or the stress. It was about their commitment to each other and their willingness to support one another. Sarah and Jake knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together with love and understanding. Chapter 7. The Confrontation. Sarah could no longer ignore the growing tension between her and Jake. Despite his apologies and promises, she felt something was still off. He was distant and preoccupied, even when they were together. Sarah decided it was time to confront him about his behavior. One evening, Sarah invited Jake over to her apartment. She prepared a simple dinner, hoping to create a calm atmosphere for their conversation. Jake arrived looking tired, but managed a smile when he saw her. "Hey, Sarah," he said, giving her a quick hug. "Dinner smells great." "Thanks, Jake," Sarah replied, trying to keep her voice steady. I wanted us to have a nice meal and talk. Jake nodded, sensing the seriousness in her tone. They sat down to eat, making small talk at first. But Sarah couldn't hold back her feelings any longer. Jake, I need to talk to you about something important, she began, putting down her fork. I've been feeling really distant from you lately. You said things would get better, but I still feel like you're not fully here. Jake sighed, rubbing his temples. I know, Sarah. I'm sorry. Work has been overwhelming, and I've been trying to fix everything. Sarah took a deep breath. I understand that work is stressful, but it feels like you're shutting me out. We're supposed to be a team, but I feel like I'm on the outside. Jake looked down at his plate, his expression tense. It's not that simple, Sarah. I'm trying to keep everything together. I don't want to fail at my job or our relationship. Sarah's heart softened, but she also felt frustrated. Jake, you don't have to do everything alone. I'm here to help you, but you need to let me in. We can't fix this if you keep pushing me away. Jake's eyes flashed with a mix of anger and fear. You don't understand, Sarah. If I mess up at work, it's all on me. And if I fail with us, it's my fault too. I'm scared, okay? I'm scared of losing everything. Sarah felt tears welling up in her eyes. Jake, I'm scared too. But we can't let fear control us. We need to face it together, not alone. Jake stood up abruptly, his chair scraping against the floor. I don't know how, Sarah. I don't know how to balance everything. It feels like I'm drowning. Sarah stood up too, reaching out to him. Jake, look at me. We will figure this out, but you need to talk to me. You can't keep everything bottled up inside. Jake looked at her, his eyes filled with frustration and helplessness. I don't want to drag you down with me, Sarah. I don't want you to see me fail. Sarah stepped closer, taking his hands in hers. Jake, I don't care if you fail. I care about you. I want to be there for you through everything. But I need you to trust me and let me in. Jake's shoulders sagged, and he sighed deeply. I'm sorry, Sarah. I've been so focused on not failing that I forgot what's important. I forgot that we're in this together. Sarah felt a glimmer of hope. We can do this, Jake. But we need to communicate and support each other. No more shutting each other out. Jake nodded, his grip on her hands tightening. You're right, Sarah. I've been scared and stubborn. I promise to do better, to be more open with you. Sarah smiled through her tears. That's all I want, Jake. We'll get through this together. They sat back down, holding hands across the table. The conversation was far from over, but they had taken the first step toward understanding and healing. They talked late into the night, sharing their fears, hopes, and dreams. The tension slowly eased, replaced by a renewed sense of connection. In the days that followed, Jake made a conscious effort to be more open with Sarah. He shared his work struggles and fears, and Sarah listened, offering her support. They worked on finding a balance between their personal lives and responsibilities. One weekend, Jake suggested they take a break from everything and spend a day at the beach. Sarah agreed, hoping the change of scenery would help them relax and reconnect. As they walked along the shore, Jake looked at Sarah and said, I'm really sorry for how I've been acting. I let my fear control me, and I pushed you away. Sarah squeezed his hand. It's okay, Jake. We're both learning. The important thing is that we're trying to make it work. They found a quiet spot on the sand and sat down, watching the waves crash against the shore. Jake took a deep breath, feeling the weight of his worries lift slightly. "Sarah, I want you to know how much you mean to me," Jake said, his voice steady. "I don't want to lose what we have. I promise to be more open and honest with you." Sarah smiled, feeling a sense of peace. "And I promise to be patient and supportive. We're in this together, Jake." They sat in comfortable silence, feeling the warmth of the sun and the cool breeze. It was a moment of calm and clarity, a reminder that they could face anything as long as they were together. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, Jake looked at Sarah and said, "Thank you for believing in me, even when I didn't believe in myself." Sarah leaned in and kissed him gently. "We're a team, Jake. We'll always find a way." Their journey was far from over, but they had taken an important step toward rebuilding their relationship. The confrontation had been difficult, but it had brought them closer, helping them understand each other's fears and needs. Sarah and Jake knew there would be more challenges ahead, but they felt ready to face them together. Their bond had grown stronger, rooted in trust and communication. They walked back to their car, hand in hand, knowing that whatever came next, they would face it side by side. Their story was one of resilience and hope, a testament to the power of love and partnership. Sarah and Jake had learned that by being honest and open, they could overcome their fears and build a future filled with promise. Chapter 8. A Heartfelt Apology. Jake sat at his desk, staring at a blank piece of paper. He knew he needed to apologize to Sarah properly, to explain everything he had been feeling. Talking had helped, but he wanted to make sure she truly understood. He decided to write her a letter, something she could read and reread if she needed to. He picked up his pen, took a deep breath, and began to write. Dear Sarah, I hope this letter finds you well. I have been thinking a lot about everything we've been through recently, and I realize that I owe you a deep and sincere apology. First, I want to say that I am sorry for my behavior. I've been distant and stressed, and I know I have hurt you. I never wanted to push you away, but my fears and worries got the better of me. Work has been overwhelming, and I felt like I was failing at everything, including our relationship. I was scared to let you see me like that. I have always prided myself on being strong and capable, but this time I felt weak and lost. I thought I had to fix everything on my own without bothering you with my problems, but I see now that I was wrong. A relationship is about sharing both the good and the bad, and I failed to do that. Sarah, you mean so much to me. You are my light, my inspiration, and my support. Without you, I wouldn't have made it through these tough times. I am grateful for your patience, your kindness, and your unwavering support. You have stood by me, even when I didn't deserve it. I want you to know that I am committed to making things right. I will do my best to be more open and honest with you. I will share my fears and my joys, and I will listen to you with my whole heart. I want us to be a team, facing life's challenges together. I love you, Sarah. I should have told you this sooner, but I was too afraid. Afraid of failing, afraid of losing you, and afraid of not being enough. But now, I see that my love for you is stronger than my fears. Please forgive me for my mistakes. I am learning, and I am trying to be a better person for you and for us. Let's move forward together, hand in hand, and build a future filled with love, trust, and happiness. Thank you for everything, Sarah. You are my everything. With all my love, Jake. Jake read over the letter several times, making sure it said everything he wanted to convey. He folded it carefully, placed it in an envelope, and wrote Sarah's name on the front. He felt a mix of nervousness and hope as he prepared to give it to her. The next morning, Jake went to Sarah's apartment. She answered the door, surprised to see him so early. "Jake, what are you doing here?" she asked, a hint of concern in her voice. "I needed to give you this," Jake said, handing her the envelope. "Please read it when you have a moment." Sarah took the envelope, curiosity and worry mingling in her eyes. "Okay, I will. Thank you, Jake." Jake nodded, giving her a small smile. "I'll see you later, Sarah." He walked away, leaving her standing at the door. Sarah went back inside, her heart pounding. She sat down on the couch and carefully opened the envelope. She unfolded the letter and began to read. As she read Jake's words, a wave of emotions washed over her. She felt his sincerity and his struggle, and she understood the depth of his fears. She felt sadness for the pain they had both experienced, but also a sense of relief that he was opening up to her. By the time she finished the letter, tears were streaming down her face. She felt a renewed sense of hope and love for Jake. His apology was heartfelt and genuine, and it made her believe that they could work through their challenges together. Later that day, Sarah decided to visit Jake at his apartment. She wanted to talk to him in person, to let him know how much his letter meant to her. She knocked on his door, feeling a mixture of nervousness and anticipation. Jake opened the door, surprised to see her. "Sarah, come in," he said, stepping aside. Sarah walked in, holding the letter in her hand. "I read your letter, Jake. It was beautiful and honest. Thank you for writing it." Jake looked at her, his eyes filled with hope. "I meant every word, Sarah. I'm so sorry for everything. I love you, and I want us to move forward together." Sarah nodded, her eyes shining with tears. "I love you too, Jake, and I forgive you. I know things haven't been easy, but we can get through this. We just need to communicate and support each other." Jake felt a wave of relief and gratitude. He took Sarah's hands in his. "Thank you, Sarah. I promise to be better, to be there for you, and to share everything with you." Sarah smiled, feeling a sense of peace. "And I promise to be patient and to listen. We're a team, Jake. We can do this together." They sat down and talked for hours, sharing their thoughts and feelings. They made plans for how to manage their time and stress better, ensuring they made space for each other in their busy lives. As the evening drew to a close, they felt a renewed sense of connection and commitment. They knew there would still be challenges ahead, but they also knew they could face them together. Jake's heartfelt apology had brought them closer, helping them to understand each other better. Their love had grown stronger through the difficulties, and they were ready to build a future filled with trust, love, and support. Sarah and Jake held each other, feeling a sense of hope and happiness. They had faced their fears and come out stronger, knowing that together they could overcome anything. Their journey was just beginning, but they were ready to face it side by side, with love as their guide. Chapter 9. A New Beginning. The morning after receiving Jake's heartfelt letter, Sarah couldn't stop thinking about their next step. She felt a mixture of hope and anxiety as she prepared to meet Jake. Today was crucial. They needed to have an honest conversation about their feelings and fears. Sarah arrived at their favourite coffee shop a little early. She chose a quiet corner table where they often sat. The familiar surroundings brought back memories of their shared laughter and deep conversations. She hoped today would mark the start of a new chapter in their relationship. A few minutes later, Jake walked in, looking a bit nervous but determined. He spotted Sarah and gave her a warm smile. As he approached, she felt her heart flutter. They both knew this conversation was important. "Hi, Sarah," Jake said, sitting down across from her. "Thanks for meeting me." "Hi, Jake," Sarah replied, her voice gentle. "I'm glad you're here." They ordered their drinks, and once the waiter left, an awkward silence settled between them. Jake was the first to speak. "Sarah, I've been thinking a lot about everything," he began. "I want to be completely honest with you. I've realized how much my fears have affected us." Sarah nodded, encouraging him to continue. "Go on, Jake. I'm listening." Jake took a deep breath. "I was afraid of failing at work and in our relationship. I felt like I had to handle everything on my own, but I see now that it's okay to ask for help and to share my worries with you." Sarah reached across the table and took his hand. "Jake, we're a team. You don't have to do everything by yourself. I want to be there for you, through the good and the bad." Jake squeezed her hand, feeling a wave of relief. "Thank you, Sarah. I'm sorry for pushing you away. I love you, and I want to make this work. I know it won't be easy, but I'm committed to trying." Sarah smiled, her eyes shining with hope. "I love you too, Jake. I've been scared too, but I believe we can get through this together. We just need to be honest and communicate." Jake nodded. "You're right. We need to share our feelings and support each other. No more shutting each other out." They talked for a long time, sharing their fears, hopes, and dreams. Jake explained the pressures he faced at work, and Sarah shared her concerns about balancing her art and their relationship. They both realized how much they needed each other's support. "I've decided to make some changes at work," Jake said. "I'm going to set boundaries and not let it consume me. I want to make time for us, for our relationship." Sarah felt a surge of gratitude. "That's a good idea, Jake. And I'll do the same with my art. It's important to me, but so are you. We need to find a balance." They continued to discuss practical ways to support each other. They planned regular date nights and agreed to check in with each other about their feelings and stress levels. They also decided to be more open about their fears and to reassure each other often. As they finished their conversation, Sarah felt a renewed sense of connection with Jake. They had faced their fears and decided to move forward together. It felt like a new beginning. Jake looked at Sarah with a soft smile. "I'm so glad we had this talk. I feel like we're on the same page now." Sarah nodded. "Me too, Jake. I feel hopeful about our future." They left the coffee shop hand in hand, feeling closer than ever. They knew there would still be challenges, but they were ready to face them together. In the following weeks, Jake and Sarah put their plans into action. Jake started setting boundaries at work, making sure he left the office at a reasonable time. He also spoke with his boss about the pressures he was facing, and they agreed to bring in more support for the project. Sarah focused on finding a balance between her art and her personal life. She dedicated time to her creative projects, but made sure to prioritize her relationship with Jake. She also started teaching a small art class, which brought her joy and allowed her to share her passion with others. Their efforts paid off. They spent more quality time together, enjoying each other's company and deepening their bond. They went on weekend trips, explored new places in the city, and supported each other's dreams. One evening, they decided to have a quiet night in. They cooked dinner together and then sat on the couch, talking about their day. "Jake, I'm really proud of how far we've come," Sarah said, leaning her head on his shoulder. "We've faced a lot, but we've done it together." Jake kissed the top of her head. "I'm proud of us too, Sarah. We've learned so much about ourselves and each other. I know we can handle anything that comes our way." Sarah looked up at him, her eyes filled with love. "I believe that too, Jake. Our relationship is stronger because of everything we've been through." They sat in comfortable silence, feeling the warmth of their connection. It was a moment of peace and contentment, a reminder of how far they had come. As they continued to grow together, Sarah and Jake felt a deep sense of gratitude for their journey. They had faced their fears, communicated openly, and supported each other through the challenges. Their love had deepened, and they felt ready for whatever the future held. Their new beginning was filled with hope, love, and a commitment to each other. They knew there would still be ups and downs, but they were confident in their ability to face them together. Sarah and Jake had found their way back to each other, and they were ready to build a future filled with joy and togetherness. In the quiet of their apartment, they held each other close, knowing that they had found something truly special. Their journey had just begun, but they were excited to see where it would take them. With love and trust as their foundation, they knew they could achieve anything together. Chapter 10. Growing Together. Sarah and Jake's decision to give their relationship a real chance marked the beginning of a new chapter in their lives. They had faced many challenges, but now they were committed to growing together, finding balance and supporting each other through thick and thin. Their days began to fall into a comforting rhythm. They made time for each other despite their busy schedules. Every morning they enjoyed a quiet breakfast together. Jake would make coffee and Sarah would prepare toast or scrambled eggs. They used this time to talk about their plans for the day and share a few laughs. One Saturday, they decided to spend the day at the local farmers' market. It was a sunny morning, and the market was bustling with people. Sarah loved the vibrant colours of the fruits and vegetables, and Jake enjoyed trying the samples offered by the vendors. "Look at these strawberries," Sarah said, holding up a basket. "They're perfect for dessert tonight." Jake grinned. "Sounds great. How about I make dinner and you handle the dessert?" Sarah agreed, and they spent the rest of the morning picking out fresh ingredients. As they walked back home, their bags full, Sarah felt happy and content. She loved these simple moments they shared. That evening, Jake cooked a delicious pasta dish and Sarah made a strawberry shortcake for dessert. They ate outside on their small balcony, enjoying the warm breeze and the view of the city lights. "This is perfect," Jake said. taking a bite of his pasta. "I love these quiet evenings with you." Sarah smiled. "Me too, Jake. It's the little things that make life special." Their days were filled with such moments. They learned to balance their professional lives and personal time better. Jake continued to set boundaries at work, making sure he didn't bring his stress home. He found that he was more productive and happier when he wasn't overwhelmed by work. Sarah also managed her time better, dedicating specific hours to her art and teaching. She felt fulfilled by her work and loved sharing her passion with her students. She also made sure to take breaks and spend quality time with Jake. One weekend, they decided to go on a hiking trip. They packed a picnic and drove to a nearby trail. The hike was challenging but refreshing. They talked about their dreams and future plans as they walked, enjoying the beauty of nature around them. "Jake, do you ever think about what our life will be like in a few years?" Sarah asked as they stopped to rest on a large rock overlooking a scenic valley. "All the time," Jake replied, looking thoughtful. "I see us continuing to grow, both individually and together. I see us supporting each other's dreams and building a life filled with love and happiness." Sarah nodded, feeling a sense of peace. "I see that too. I want us to always be there for each other, no matter what." They continued their hike, feeling more connected than ever. The shared journey, both literal and metaphorical, brought them closer. They appreciated the beauty of the present moment and looked forward to the future. As they grew together, they also faced new challenges. There were times when work became overwhelming again, or when they had disagreements. But they handled these challenges with understanding and patience. They knew that communication was key, and always made time to talk things through. One evening, after a particularly stressful day at work, Jake came home feeling exhausted. Sarah noticed his tired expression and immediately put down her paintbrush. "Rough day?" she asked gently. Jake nodded, sighing. "Yeah, it was tough. I feel like I can't catch a break." Sarah walked over and hugged him. "Let's take a walk. Fresh air might help." They walked to a nearby park, holding hands and talking about their day. Jake felt the tension ease as he shared his worries with Sarah. She listened patiently, offering words of comfort and support. "You're doing your best, Jake," Sarah said softly. "It's okay to have tough days. We'll get through them together." Jake felt a wave of gratitude. "Thank you, Sarah. I don't know what I'd do without you." Sarah smiled. "You'd manage, but we're a team, remember?" Jake nodded, feeling better. They continued their walk, enjoying the cool evening air and each other's company. These moments of support and understanding were crucial to their growing relationship. As time went on, they celebrated each other's achievements. When Sarah had a successful art show, Jake was there, cheering her on. When Jake's hard work at his job led to a promotion, Sarah celebrated with him, proud of his accomplishments. Their relationship wasn't perfect, but it was real. They faced the ups and downs together, always finding strength in their love and support for each other. They learned to appreciate the small joys and to handle the challenges with grace. One night, as they sat on their balcony, Jake looked at Sarah and said, "I've never been happier. Growing together with you has been the best journey of my life." Sarah felt tears of happiness well up in her eyes. "I feel the same, Jake. I'm so grateful for what we have." They sat in comfortable silence, watching the stars. Their journey was far from over, but they were confident in their ability to face whatever came next, together. Sarah and Jake had found a way to balance their lives, support each other, and grow together. Their relationship had become a source of strength and joy, a partnership built on love, trust, and mutual respect. They looked forward to the future, knowing that they would continue to grow and face life's challenges hand in hand. Their story was one of resilience, love, and the beauty of growing together. As they looked up at the night sky, they felt a deep sense of peace and contentment. They knew that whatever the future held, they would face it with courage and love, always growing and supporting each other along the way. Chapter 11. An Unexpected Proposal. Jake had been planning something special for weeks. He wanted to propose to Sarah in a way that was meaningful and memorable. He thought about their journey together, the ups and downs they had faced, and knew he wanted to ask her to marry him in the park where they first met. It was the place where their story began, and it felt perfect for this important moment. One sunny Saturday, Jake asked Sarah to meet him at the park for a picnic. "I've packed some of our favourite foods," he said, smiling. Sarah agreed, not suspecting anything unusual. She was happy to spend a relaxing day with Jake. Jake arrived at the park early to set everything up. He found a quiet spot near the fountain where they had first talked. He laid out a blanket, set up the picnic basket, and placed a small bouquet of flowers in the centre. In his pocket, he had a small box with the ring he had chosen carefully, hoping Sarah would love it. When Sarah arrived, she was delighted to see the setup. "This looks wonderful, Jake," she exclaimed, hugging him. "You really went all out." Jake smiled, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. "I wanted today to be special," he said, taking her hand and leading her to the blanket. They sat down and enjoyed the picnic, chatting and laughing. Jake could feel his heart pounding, knowing what was coming next. He waited for the right moment, trying to stay calm. After they finished eating, Jake stood up and reached for Sarah's hand. "Let's take a walk," he suggested. They walked through the park, reminiscing about their first meeting and all the memories they had created since then. As they approached the fountain, Jake stopped and turned to Sarah, taking both her hands in his. "Sarah, there's something I've been wanting to ask you," he began, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "From the moment we met here, you've brought so much joy and love into my life. We've grown together, faced challenges together, and I can't imagine my life without you." Sarah looked at him, her eyes wide with curiosity and hope. "Jake." Jake took a deep breath, then got down on one knee, pulling the small box from his pocket. He opened it to reveal a beautiful ring. "Sarah, will you marry me?" Tears filled Sarah's eyes as she looked at Jake and the ring. She felt overwhelmed with happiness and love. "Yes, Jake, yes, I will marry you," she exclaimed, her voice trembling with emotion. Jake slipped the ring onto her finger, feeling a surge of joy and relief. He stood up, and they embraced, both of them laughing and crying at the same time. It was a perfect moment, filled with love and promise. As they hugged, a few people in the park who had witnessed the proposal began to clap and cheer. Sarah and Jake looked around, smiling and waving at the well-wishers. As they hugged, a few people in the park who had witnessed the proposal began to clap and cheer. Sarah and Jake looked around, smiling and waving at the well-wishers. They spent the rest of the afternoon in the park, talking about their future and enjoying the feeling of being engaged. They called their closest friends and family to share the news, and everyone was thrilled for them. That evening, they went to Sarah's apartment, where a small celebration was waiting. Their friends had decorated the place with balloons and banners that said, "Congratulations!" and "Engaged." There was food, music, and lots of laughter. Sarah's best friend, Emily, gave her a big hug. "I'm so happy for you, Sarah. You and Jake are perfect for each other." Sarah smiled, holding up her hand to show the ring. "Thank you, Emily. I'm so excited for our future." Jake's friend, Mark, clapped him on the back. "You did it, man! Congrats! When's the wedding?" Jake laughed. "We haven't thought that far ahead yet. We're just enjoying the moment." As the night went on, Sarah and Jake felt surrounded by love and support. They danced, shared stories, and dreamed about their life together. It was a night filled with hope and happiness. Later, when the party had wound down and their friends had left, Sarah and Jake sat together on the couch holding hands. They looked at each other, both feeling a deep sense of contentment. "I can't believe we're engaged," Sarah said softly, looking at her ring. "It feels like a dream." Jake smiled, pulling her closer. "It's real, Sarah, and I'm so happy. I can't wait to start this new chapter with you." Sarah rested her head on his shoulder. "Me too, Jake. We've been through so much together, and I know we can handle anything that comes our way." They sat in comfortable silence, thinking about their journey and the exciting future ahead. They knew there would be challenges, but they were ready to face them together. In the weeks that followed, they started making plans for their wedding. They talked about venues, dates, and who they wanted to invite. It was a busy time, but they enjoyed every moment, knowing they were building the foundation for their future together. Their relationship continued to grow stronger as they navigated this new phase of their lives. They supported each other through the stress of planning and celebrated each small milestone along the way. They knew that the key to their happiness was communication, patience, and unwavering support for each other. One evening, as they were finalizing their guest list, Jake looked at Sarah and said, "You know, no matter what happens, the most important thing is that we're doing this together. I love you, Sarah, and I can't wait to marry you." Sarah felt her heart swell with love. "I love you too, Jake. And I feel the same way. Our wedding will be special because it's about us and our love." They finished their planning for the night and went for a walk hand in hand. They talked about their dreams and how they envisioned their life together. The future was bright, and they felt ready to face it with confidence and joy. As they walked back home, Jake looked up at the stars and said, "This is just the beginning, Sarah. We have so many adventures ahead of us." Sarah squeezed his hand. "I can't wait to share them all with you, Jake. Here's to our future." They smiled at each other, feeling the excitement and hope that comes with a new beginning. Their journey together had been filled with love, growth, and understanding, and they knew that their bond would only continue to strengthen as they moved forward. Sarah and Jake's engagement was a testament to their love and commitment. They had found each other, grown together, and now they were ready to start the next chapter of their lives. With their hearts full of love and their minds focused on the future, they faced the world with optimism and joy, knowing that together they could achieve anything. Sarah and Jake's engagement was a testament to their love and commitment. They had found each other, grown together, and now they were ready to start the next chapter of their lives. With their hearts full of love and their minds focused on the future, they faced the world with optimism and joy, knowing that together they could achieve anything. Chapter 12. Through Trials and Triumphs. Sarah and Jake were excited about their future together, but they soon discovered that life had many challenges in store for them. Despite their joy and love, they faced obstacles that tested their commitment and strength. They learned that life is full of trials and triumphs, but with love and support, they could overcome anything. One of the first challenges they faced was planning their wedding. They wanted it to be a special day, but realized it involved a lot of work. There were decisions to make about the venue, the guest list, the food, and many other details. It became overwhelming at times, and they had a few disagreements. One evening, after a long day of wedding planning, Sarah and Jake sat down together. Jake could see the stress in Sarah's eyes and felt it himself. "Sarah, I think we need to take a step back," Jake said gently. "We're getting too caught up in the details. The most important thing is that we're getting married. Let's not forget why we're doing this." Sarah nodded, feeling relieved by his words. "You're right, Jake. I've been so focused on making everything perfect that I forgot what really matters. Let's simplify things and enjoy this process." They decided to focus on the essentials and let go of the unnecessary stress. They chose a beautiful outdoor venue, invited their closest friends and family, and planned a simple, elegant ceremony. The pressure lifted, and they began to enjoy the preparations. As the wedding day approached, another challenge arose. Jake's company announced a major project that required his full attention. He had to work long hours, and the stress started to take a toll on him. He worried about balancing his job and the upcoming wedding. One evening, after another long day at work, Jake came home feeling exhausted. Sarah saw the fatigue in his eyes and knew he was struggling. "Jake, let's talk," Sarah said, leading him to the couch. "I can see how hard this is for you. How can I help?" Jake sighed, feeling the weight of his responsibilities. "I don't know, Sarah. I feel like I'm being pulled in so many directions. I want to be there for you and our wedding, but work is demanding so much of me." Sarah took his hand and looked into his eyes. "We're in this together, Jake. Let's find a way to balance things. Maybe we can delegate some tasks or ask for help from our friends and family." Jake felt a sense of relief. "That sounds like a good idea. I need to learn to ask for help and not try to do everything myself." They made a plan to share the workload with their loved ones. Sarah's friends helped with the wedding decorations, and Jake's colleagues took on some of his tasks at work. It wasn't easy, but they managed to find a balance. On the day of their wedding, the sun shone brightly, and the air was filled with joy and anticipation. Sarah looked stunning in her simple white dress, and Jake felt a surge of love and pride as he saw her walking down the aisle. Their friends and family gathered around, smiling and cheering them on. The ceremony was beautiful and heartfelt. They exchanged vows, promising to support each other through all of life's challenges. As they held hands and looked into each other's eyes, They felt a deep sense of connection and commitment. After the ceremony, they celebrated with a joyous reception. There was laughter, dancing, and heartfelt speeches from their loved ones. Sarah and Jake felt surrounded by love and support, and they knew they could face anything together. A few months after the wedding, Sarah and Jake faced another trial. Sarah's art studio experienced financial difficulties. The economy was tough, and fewer people were buying art. Sarah worried about keeping the studio open and felt the pressure of supporting their new life together. Jake saw her worry and wanted to help. "Sarah, we'll get through this," he said, holding her close. "Let's brainstorm some ideas to bring in more business. Maybe we can offer art classes or host special events at the studio." Sarah felt encouraged by his words. "That's a great idea, Jake. I've always wanted to teach more classes and connect with the community. Let's give it a try." They worked together to promote the studio, offering new classes and organizing events. Slowly, business started to pick up. Sarah felt hopeful again, knowing that with Jake's support, she could overcome this challenge. Throughout their journey, Sarah and Jake learned valuable lessons about love, resilience, and teamwork. They discovered that life would always have its trials, but with love and support, they could triumph over any obstacle. One evening, as they sat on their balcony reflecting on their journey, Jake looked at Sarah and said, "We've been through so much together, and I wouldn't change a thing. Each challenge has made us stronger and brought us closer." Sarah smiled, feeling a deep sense of gratitude. "I feel the same way, Jake. We've learned so much about ourselves and each other. I'm excited for our future, knowing we can face anything together." Their love had grown stronger through their trials and triumphs. They had learned to support each other, communicate openly, and find joy in the little moments. Their journey was far from over, but they felt confident in their ability to navigate whatever came their way. As they looked up at the night sky, filled with stars, they felt a sense of peace and contentment. Their wedding had marked a new beginning, but it was just the start of their adventure together. They knew that with love, patience, and perseverance, they could overcome any challenge and build a life filled with happiness and fulfillment. Sarah and Jake's story was one of love, growth, and resilience. They had faced many trials, but each one had made their bond stronger. Their journey was a testament to the power of love and the importance of supporting each other through life's ups and downs. With hope in their hearts and a bright future ahead, they were ready to face whatever came next, hand in hand.